right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Greetings and welcome to Context Matters. The date is the 4th of June, first Thursday in June, and want to welcome you to what I will call a very interesting show. It's titled It Happens to the Best of Us, and it's Judgment versus Time. Why is this topic so significant, or why are we even talking about judgment versus time? All right, well, let's start by saying this. So many things are happening in the space, so many different ever-changing realities. So we have to put it in context. For instance, in the Jamaican space, there's always a conversation about whether human rights is of any importance at all. In a space where the global economy directs pretty much how persons are seeing economic viability, the human capital, whether it's worth anything or has any value, are questions to be asked in light of the ever-changing realities. Jamaica is poised or positioned to be an independent state, a sovereign state, capable of making its own choices and decisions without interference from other nations. Whether that is taking place or not is a question of reality, a question of what's happening in the practical sense. Having said that, here's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at whether or not governance, or to put it another way, let me find exactly what I should be framing the conversation. And we take it from, we build the show from that context. All right, so I was talking to someone, I won't name the someone, but in the conversation, what was said, you see, it was more about whether or not a conversation about inclusion with governance was something to be considered. So, can we actually look at it and say that governance is functioning? And if it's functioning, is it functioning for the people? That's a conversation that can be had. So governing for all social classes is the conversation. Governing for all social classes is the right conversation. So let's put it another way or put it in context. Social inclusion for democratic governance is a question of governing for all social classes. It means that in the Jamaican society there is a class system, and we have to be accepting of that. If there is a class system, a system of governance that will include all classes, in other words, government serves all of Jamaica, all the citizens of Jamaica, every class, upper class, middle class, whichever class, lower class, any class, it is serving the people of Jamaica. If that is so, it means that a society's foundation, which is the Constitution, applies to everyone. The application of the very thing that we're talking about is for all. It has to do with all persons involved, all parties involved. If we can agree to that, then we have a very good understanding and appreciation of what is expected of us. Good. So know that we actually say that, or know that we understand that, I think we don't have a issue when dealing with that. So I'm gonna say at this very moment, at this juncture, um, greetings to everybody that's watching or listening from Best FM 100. That's the first. Then I'm going to say, everybody who is on YouTube, welcome. Shout out to Walking in Divine Purpose, my moderator. Big up to you. I'm going to say, everybody who is watching from TikTok, good evening to you. And for those of you who are listening and tuned in from Reggae Global Radio, it's a flagship station for Context Matters. Big up yourself. Thank you for the continued support as we continue to put things in context. Now, again, if governance is for all, then the law is applicable to all. No one is above the law. And I had said that the first thing I was going to do to establish that no one is above the law and how the justice system is supposed to work. And when we envision the justice system, we say, you know something? Nobody now get no special treatment. Everybody is afforded the presumption of innocence. Everybody is afforded due process. Everybody is afforded bail in conjunction with the Constitution and the Bail Act in the exceptions or circumstances where bail cannot be granted because the prosecution can prove overwhelming circumstances why you're not to be on bail. What I will say to you is that the court cannot manufacture circumstances to deny you bail. So a police officer, ironically, can't just get up and say, yeah, them in a gang. And then the judge says, oh, and then no bail for you. No, that is not the concept or the idea or the thought that we ought to be looking for when it comes to the conversation of bail. So that's the starting point. But there's also a thought that all laws applies to everybody and nobody's immune from the law, the process, and the procedure. No, let's put things into context. You know, this morning I was having a small conversation while I was exercising. And what was that conversation? Well, here I was all this time thinking that when you are in parliament, you are a part of the Bill Gates. But then I realized when you're on the other fence, you're really a Bill fence. You are not a part of the Bill Gates. So me and my driver decided that we were going to a meeting in St. Thomas. And we set out from Portland Eastern and we take in the free highway. The highway where the road dig up and them ever fix from them said complete. But anyway, let me not throw corns because we are appreciative of the development of the nation, even if it's not done in the best manner. Anyway, traversing the road in St. Thomas, we're heading to the meeting. And when we, along the roadway, we passed some officers who was doing traffic stop. Now, let me tell you right away, we pass and see me with my chest well push up in the car. Like, yes, I'm a member of parliament and my sign, it says P. And they tell me when them give me the orientation in a parliament, say this sign right here, make sure say police can't trouble you. Someone say, yeah, me height now. Me above the law. I am the law. Well, guess what? I get a radar, me see, because whilst driving, since becoming a member of parliament, I did not check that my fitness was up on my vehicle that is clearly fit. Yes, I've been always done servicing and doing everything on time. And because Jamaica has gone electronic now, the electronic system, the police now, them not fit. Different from when them at the speed trap, them just can pass you and say, oh, the vehicle you drive and take your license plate number and look it up. And when them look it up now, them realize fitness up. And them did we want, them put on them we want, and them drive we down. When me I hear the we want, same time me hear the song, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Oh no, because we don't know the words in between that. But anyway, yeah, seriously, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence moment. Because me say I could have never me, them a we want with that type of aggression for. So we realize because they flash we down and them stop we down. So we stop. See me in the front seat. Chest well push up. I said, why are they stopping us? Can't they see the member of parliament is traversing St. Thomas, a neighboring parish and constituency? Yes, ran by the most erudite Rosemary Shaw, the member of parliament that took out the Charles lady, the dentist, yes, and became the member of parliament. And the dentist is like, she is the member of parliament. I said, why are they stopping me in the member of parliament's jurisdiction run by the People's National Party? Police say, oi, wind down the window. I said, do you know who I am? No, I never really said that, but me I embellish. And they said, yeah, wind down the window. I said, are you familiar with the sign that is affixed to this vehicle? The one say, you check your fitness, you beat off your big face, your ugly nose boy, eh? So I said, what? I said, I'm not talk to you, man. Driver, show me your documents. Yeah, my driver, you did pay your fitness, your vehicle insurance license. I say, I don't know. I'm a member of parliament. I don't do those things. Well, I check. Because I don't know the driver whisper when me look. Fitness up. And say, yes, man. Driver, go want your ticket now. So I vex. I just feel like I was being targeted. Then I sit and I prayed. And I vented. I was upset. And I said, the police, them out of order. How dare them? I don't feel like a member of parliament. This is unfair. Why would I break a vase to be treated this way? Do you know how expensive the vase that was broken was? Well, anyway, moving on. Here's what happened. A taste of humility and the proper operation of law took place where members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I won't name them, but it's a story about when you're hearing on the streets when somebody say, I work, and a chicken me a jerk, you get a full appreciation because those three officers, they're doing their jobs. Them left on the road, sun hot. Nobody not buy water or none Arizona or none of them things they give them and them do them job. And them make them ticket quota as a tax regime mechanism, strict liability offense, and they wrote the ticket. And I said, you know, when the officers are doing their job and they're doing it properly, because they never run me down for say the MP car, them I go harass And well, even if they did that, here's the irony of it. When you're wrong, you can be strong and wrong. And with strict liability offenses, if you break the law, just take the ticket, humble thyself, and go. Pay it if you must. But then I said to myself, these officers are doing exactly that, what they were sent out there to do. And for that, I wake up the next day and I feel good because I say, yes, I saw the police them for operate. So when the one them were really I do the corruption and really a thief and really I do wrong, a same way, so same energy, man. Find them, arrest them if them have to arrest them, put them picture upon the thing. Don't say a popular person or a so and so and treat them in the classist way. Remember the conversation, governance for all classes, inclusion of all classes. Treat everybody according to the law. No special treatment for those who are a part of the elite. Do what is right. Bring back a certain level of respect to the Jamaica Constabulary Force from all manner. And so the young men who stood their ground and wrote the ticket, notwithstanding that the Member of Parliament was in the vehicle and it belonged to the Member of Parliament, a discretion could have been had. But if the discretion wasn't given, that's the power of the officer, and the persons who get it couldn't be bad. Because there I was also speaking to somebody who said, boy, you know, life just a get hard. Me I work and so me I work, me can't get to keep up. And you see it all now, me can't license my vehicle if me take a chance to do the fit, me can't even do the fitness. If me take a chance and me, I hope nobody is upset with me because I'm speaking patois. You know, I don't want nobody come for me and tell me that no, speaking patois and context matters. But anyway, if you take a chance and your fitness up, the ticket is about $15,000. So your words are going to be off. Those who used to pay $200 for taxi fares now paying $3 and is likely to pay about $750 two-way in the end. So life is getting hard for some, and it appears then that notwithstanding the officers have to do their job, people have to do their jobs, and they're to be respected while doing their jobs. It also means then that when an officer, somebody is, you know, Instanani is on here complaining that my uptown patois say would be offensive to the most erudite, soon to be national hero, Louis Bennett. But I shall inform you that Louis Bennett is also from uptown, and no one should be criticizing my patois, and nobody should be upset if the Speaker of the House never stops me and tell me no patois in here because I have an uptown patois in my dialect. You understand? But anyway, to say that one should also know that when you're doing your job and you go outside of the scope of your job, you're going to have a rather moment. So as I said, you know, it happens to the best of us because there are two young men who now motherless. Yes, I want to make that clear, right? And to say those two young men who are motherless, they have actually have, after having conversations, seen that in Jamaica a shimmer of hope for the justice system to work. The wheels of that justice system is turning. Why am I saying that? Well, yesterday, the police officer seen in a most controversial, unfortunate video was charged for murder brought before the court and denied bail initially. Or should I say, maybe a bail application date is set. But speaking on behalf of the young men, I will say, like news time, that I welcome the ruling from the learned Director of Public Prosecution, Ms. Claudette Thompson, and the recent charge brought in the matter of Latoya, aka Buju Bulgin. And yes, it is public knowledge that I am the attorney at law representing the family. But I have stood with them throughout this difficult process, advocating for accountability and ensuring that their concerns were properly placed before the relevant authorities. The decision by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution represents an important step in the pursuit of justice. So, in talking to the sons, here is what they have asked. Yeah, they are grateful that their mother's case has been given the attention that it deserves and will now await the outcome of the trial process. They have indicated that I've always, yes, said that the justice system works, that the Constitution of Jamaica protects the rights of its citizens, our rights, and they believe in the protection. So the family thanks everyone for the support shown during the difficult time. And if you are down there in Granville, I can tell you that community is rallying because so many of their community members would have felt the unfortunate realities of untimely deaths, untimely unaliving. And the development is particularly significant in a high crime society where concerns about police accountability remain a matter of national importance. Let us never minimize this. At a time when the number of police killings has exceeded over 100, we're at 130 plus. The decision to bring charges demonstrate that no one is above the law and that allegations involving the use of deadly force must be subjected to scrutiny and due process. Don't ever forget that, the due process aspect. It is a step in the right direction for accountability, public confidence, and the rule of law. So, while the family welcomes the development, they remain mindful that the matter is before the courts and will await the outcome of the trial process. And I can say that we continue to place our faith in the justice system and in the constitutional protections afforded to every Jamaican citizen. So, because the constitutional protections are afforded to every Jamaican citizen, we always pray that those who wield justice will consider the constitutional rights of all persons and leave it to the court of competent jurisdiction to balance the two. Yeah, that's the starting point. And this thing about nobody's above the law, you see, I'm raising it to show that when it comes to a traffic ticket, there must be inclusion for all, the equal treatment, equitable treatment for all. So it is when it comes to even serious crimes, that if you commit a crime, you're suspected. If there is enough evidence, you're detained, you're brought before the court at the first possible time, station bail where necessary. I am very anti-pre-charge bail and believe that it is unconstitutional. That is a matter that may be tested in the future to see whether or not this is something that we want to continue in this jurisdiction. But people don't want to stay in jail, so they may forfeit their rights and find themselves in deeper waters. Now, to continue the conversation that I'm having with the greatest of respect, I want people to appreciate what is it that we are looking at. Because I've remained consistent in my advice to members of the JCF. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is an institution separate and apart to the serving members. So much so that you have to have a union, and so much so that you have to negotiate with the JCF itself when your rights are being violated, when you're getting interdiction, when you're getting suspension, when you're being treated like an outcast. More than ever, you come to the realization that you only wear the uniform, you're not the institution. Simply means that when you're in the meetings, don't, as a foot soldier, get gas up to give away your right to liberty, to give away your freedom, to give away your constitutional protections in the name of showboating. So much so that I sat down in Parliament. Did I say my name a while ago? Let me try that again. I sat down in Parliament, and the member from St. Elizabeth, Zolika Jess, in her justice speech, because she's Lady Justice right now, and she made her presentation. And I mean, if everyone wondered if people had gone upon them toe as elite members of society, enough people did a move like them boot did upon them, because she responded to a concern about misrepresenting the law, misdirecting the law, the position in Jamaica. And I'll speak wholesome on it, but to say statements by ministers, members of parliament from the government side, agents of the state encouraging police officers to use deadly force is either inciting violence against Jamaican citizens or is not okay with the law. That the current position in Jamaica is that you cannot use deadly force. We have one of the most progressive and prospective constitutional feature, which is the recent Charter of Rights, that is aging well in Jamaica and championing and changing the jurisprudence. I mean, these days, there was a time when I just, not so long ago, was called to the bar and I went into the courts and I would get up and say, but the constitutional rights. And they would say, oh, what's that? Lawyers would be like, what is this constitutional youth doing? And everything is constitution, we're tired. And you said, Judge, I would like a little bail, the Constitution. Oh, shut up, man. We don't want to hear this Constitution. I'm saying, all right. And you just, I don't know them not start calling me sue them. Come in around for sue them. But let me leave that alone, because, yeah. And what you tended to find was that you say, you make it clear, because I would have said, listen, don't follow them. And I kept saying, the case in point, the King against Clegg. Police are given no further better treatment. You're subject to the same due process consideration. And if a suspect is fleeing, you can't shoot them in the back. Even if you say it's a suspected felon. The use of force policy in Jamaica is guided by the Constitution, the Charter of Rights, Section 13(2)(b). It actually speaks about save and except when it is demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society. And what does that mean is that there must be, the burden is on the state to show that they deployed less restrictive measures in terms of putting restrictions on the right. And less restrictions on the right to life could never be the taking away of life. unless a police officer can show clearly that they defended themselves. And to do so and to show so would be done with the accelerated use of body cams, because the irony is that in the particular case that we speak of now, it is the video evidence that has made an overwhelming, unquestionable decision that prima facie there must be a case to answer. But no, when you come out and say them say, nah, show him love him constitution, him just chat too much. And they'll say, he just chat too much. And I remember when the Baroness did say when they was running against her, it's just chat and no more, nothing else. That kind of conversation. Well, them chew me chatty, then can't live in peace. Everything there on gone for police. Police answer, I know police are before the court. And to borrow from one of the most erudite parish judges currently in the Half-a-Tree Court, Kingston and St. Andrew Half-a-Tree Division Court, that whether you're police, lawyer, integrity commission, legislation violator, when you are brought before the court, human dignity, decency, and equal treatment. So if handcuff for reach you, it's going to reach you because you're not more than handcuff. In fact, when you buff up your chest like you sit down in a car with the MP and all kind of P there on your plate, yeah man, you can get the same silver bangle. So we are dealing with it. And that is to say then that because these constitutional rights are for all, the process must be the same. And so cases like Beckford and the Queen and Palmer and the Queen, we talk about all of them. Yeah. The judicial eye is assisted by the modern dispensation of video evidence. All right. My apologies. Now, having said that, let us now transition because, just a few weeks ago, the Integrity Commission tabled, and I must say this, this is a time for the entire nation to pause and reflect. This is a time for the entire nation to look to Granville, that community that has experienced a lot of trauma reminiscent of the slave experience, the oppression, the vagrancy laws that were put in place when the reality had hit that slavery was to be discontinued. And these laws were there to target a certain class of people. Not by lived human experience, but by stigma. And they have held themselves with poise. They have demonstrated peacefully. They have been guided by community leaders. The member of parliament has made pleas to them. The sitting councillor have had conversations. They have collectively, as citizens and government representatives and governance generally, have all come together. And they have felt the pain to see the unaliving of a woman. And it crept into not the same old story. This man had this, and a firearm was recovered, and all of the usual. And I must say this, I don't know, but when we talk about constitutional rights and when we have our common sense to say that this cannot be the standard. Somebody said, draw for the non-black person and let them say, do not be quick to judge. The system obviously has to wait because your eyes may be deceiving you and notwithstanding prima facie evidence, one should not be quick to judge about charging. And I have a long history and all the things that comes with it, with a little bit of opulence and showing a little skin color that's not black, and suddenly you're the authority for how people are to conduct themselves when experiencing trauma, extermination, and possibility of extinction of generations. Because although the Bulgin family lost the mother, the Sunday on Mother's Day, they lost a cousin. And we don't know. They say people are 5 cousins removed. In a community like that, we don't know if the 4-year-old child that lost life as well was related, or all the young men in the family, if it was a targeted generational extinction. We don't know. And all things sometimes are connected, but there must be reflection. This approach cannot continue. It cannot continue to happen in a free and democratic society. It should never be allowed. It should never be accepted. It should continue to be rejected. There should be conversations and public education about human rights. In the face of this, why I say look to Granville, I've seen the officers, senior officers, have community meetings and conversations, and persons allowed to express themselves. That's what you call therapy, and express the dissatisfaction because people want to be heard. That is why people demonstrate, and whenever people aren't being heard in the manner that is necessary, they say the revolution will not be televised. And then when riot breaks out, government responds. Well, this prime minister says, I've heard the letters, I've seen the videos, and I've heard the cries and the complaints. Give me 3 more years. Come here, fight crime. Give me 3 more years to implement body camera, because we only need body cameras right now for the traffic police then, because we're getting a good revenue from writing tickets. And if you think ticket did I write last week, wait till next month when the full taxi fare increase and transport authority knows that the taxi man them get a little bit more money. Radam! I better you never did ask for it. Because them coming for, they were not happy that you get any at all. Yes? Just remember that. Having said that, guess what? We now know, like I've always said, the justice system works. And the same people that says we are the untouchables. Well, they said that in St. Anne, Southeast St. Anne, Sessa. They say it. And the untouchables must be wondering now if they can get touched too. And when in the come go over there, so because the unaliving of the 2 brothers, we're not done, we can talk about Westmoreland too, but investigators are all out there and the evidence is being collected, and the new normal is going to be the investigation of the overwhelming unaliving, aka murder of the citizens of this country by the hands of the state. So when the Prime Minister says, you can tell a nation by the way it treats its dead. But you can tell a nation by the way they have no problem, whether you're bad man or police, to unalive, to end the life of somebody in the face of a constitutional right to life. it says that there's no respect for the Constitution, no respect for self, no respect for life. A right that when it is abridged and breached, the remedy is sorry. And it happened in first world countries. When the justice system decides that them are gonna cook you up, and racism comes in, and paperwork pushing, and they just take you up off of the street because they need to solve a case to calm down the people and put an innocent man in jail. And he says, I'm innocent. And the jury says, we find you guilty. And then when them find you guilty now, them just go on where you go. And you say, but I'm innocent. They say, you have any last word? And you said, I am innocent. And say, oh, walking boy. And then just turn on the electric chair or turn on give you some grammar zone in one needle and you're just dead. And then somebody who like human rights say, let's do the innocent project and check on this person. And then you see the DNA wasn't tested. Advancement in DNA shows that you were not dead. And then they publish the certificate and send it to your family. Postmortem. One word that we can't pronounce. Postmortem. Somebody type it, let me pronounce it. And tell you, say them sorry. And publish it in one gazette. Now wait for see if somebody from America or England can tell you. Postmortemus pardon. What them call that? A correction. All right. Nobody yet. Somebody just in one of the chat them make me know what go on. They can't do it on TikTok, but YouTube. What they call it? Why me I tell you when you do me bad? No, help me out. But yes, so posthumous. Context matters. That's one big word. I'm gonna learn it. But if on the stage tune on June 23rd, 2026, yes, you will hear me. Somebody say postmortem. It's definitely that one. Posthumous. Posthumous. I will find it. Don't worry. Give me till June 23rd. I'm going to learn that big word there. All right? Anyway, they will write the apology in depth and said that the person was innocent and apologize to the family. That's really what is right. So it's posthumous. It's official forgiveness for criminal conviction granted to a person after their death. Well, this one is the posthumous apology. So it's an apology given to an innocent person and a certificate saying to the family that you weren't guilty of the offense and you were right when you was bawling out that you were innocent. And that's when it's too late. So the right to life, when breached, it is your family that has to now get administrator ad litem and bring a claim against the state to say, listen to me, man, you breached the constitutional right and you mash up with family life. You destroyed our right to privacy, and most importantly, you took the right to life of my son, my mother, my daughter, my wife, my family member who had all the prospects of being the best version of themselves. And this reality is always a hard pill to swallow. And so thank you so much for assisting me, Sandy, with a little bit more. And somebody break it down and says, thumpus. That person wants to thump somebody. But anyway, all right. So having said that now, we look and we realize now that sometimes scrutiny has to be given because, again, one of the things that I notice is not everything is corruption, a lot of it is embarrassment. And sometimes embarrassment and concealment can lead to an appearance of corruption. So we have to now start to have conversations about not just corruption, but appearance. Because if you are acting in a certain manner, it can appear that the manner in which you're acting is the actual manner you're acting in. So, for instance, imagine how much time people make them application down at FLA and then get them firearm. You know, if you make an application to get firearm on TikTok, you can get it in a pink, you can get it in a purple, and you can just bust it. You see what I say, like me on live right now, and if them not like what me I say or them like what me I say, then show salutes and them don't need a permit. It's like TikTok is like America. You just go in at the place and buy what you buy, and you can get all your permission to carry, or you can just carry it. Well, in Jamaica, you have to go to the firing license authority or something like that. Yeah. And when you go there, you make your application and them deny you. Or somebody bad mind you and say, yeah, them brandish, then gun, take it back. And they say, oh, you were a brandisher, and them take back your gun. And they do all kind of things, and them revoke license because of your political affiliation, then give them award license to dead people, them buy and sell ammunition through companies that now buy and sell nothing. Them cannot account for 741 guns, but them say the source of illegal weapons come from foreign when really them can't account for it in the vault of the FLA. Them write people and tell them, so we take your gun and you now get it back, so better you sell it to it. And then do all kind of something. And then it appears to be umpy scumpy. And this is under the watch. And this is a complete embarrassment to governance. Now I looked at the report and I realized that there is no recommendations of charges despite the audit, and that people felt that when they were in the vault at the JDF, or in the held by the JCF, that they could account for them, but they couldn't do so through FLA. Painstakingly, having read it, a hot topic. The appearance of Umpy Scumpy was that when it was sent to be tabled, some kind of style did I keep, style did I go on where they never want to table it as soon as. And then the opposition leader said, listen, if you don't table the report, if you not table it now, you're going to go to court. And I must tell you this, had the opposition leader, the Honorable Mark Jefferson Golden, taken the matter of the non-tabling to court, he would have won. Fret not thyself. Anybody want to know about that, you can just book a consultation with me and we deal with it. Yeah. But anyway, but ironically, the member for Central St. Mary in his sectoral debate decided that he was going to have a conversation about the Bengal. Yes? And when in doing so, oh, okay. Decided that when he was talking about the Bengal issue and making comparisons to the stepping order in Nara, and when doing so, he was stopped by the acting leader of government business, the Minister of Roads, who got up and said the member could not have the conversation about the matter because the matter was sub judice. Yes? And then the sub judice is that you can't discuss the matter while the matter is before the court. And then this whole conversation about matters being sub judice because it's before the court. And it's as if there was a testing of the waters as to how to treat with this. Because in law, there's something called omissions. The law says that there's no duty to act. This is about omissions now. So let me give you an example. You could be making your way downtown, driving fast, spacing fast, and a homebound. Anyway, staring blankly ahead, making my way through the crowd. And then they go, and I miss you, and I want you. Yeah. Anyway, you could fall and walk 1,000 miles, and you could think time would pass you by and all of that. And while you're doing that, you could see people drowning, and you could take your phone out and make a nice video of it. And nobody could do you anything because you don't know them from nowhere. Because the law says there's no duty to act, except in 5 circumstances. The one that I want to talk about is creating a dangerous situation, and the case in point is Miller. Miller was a man who go dance, and when he come from dancing, well drunk, him go in him house and him light a cigarette, fall asleep, and the cigarette drop out of his mouth and light the mattress, and the place start blaze. Man get up, remember him drunk, cause place get hot, and him said, no sir, and him go in at the next room. When the house really a burn down, him jump out and run about in business, and the whole house burn down. Anyway, he was charged for creating a dangerous situation. Well, I'm positing to the people of Jamaica, so it is that it cannot be that when the Integrity Commission file a report about your skumpy behavior, your corruption behavior, that you want to run, go court and file documents, and then say, so that the parliament can say, oh, we can't do nothing because documents filed. Not, this is 2026. Not in this new parliament. Not going to happen. Yeah? The law of fire. So you can just run into the court and create a sub judice or sub judice, depending. Potato, if you don't know about that. And having said that, what is embarrassing now that the Integrity Commission report is out on the FLA is that there needs to be a serious rethinking on the ability to bear firearms in this country. I'm not going to take it any higher, but we have to wonder if the police is policing and unaliving people, and if the FLA, who is given the authority to say who should have and who should not have, and is found to be morally dishonest, morally bankrupt, painted with a cloud of, lacking the type of authority, especially when the intervention came and there was a big scandal about ministers awarding firearms, and this to come to this is most embarrassing for governance. Yeah, it's most embarrassing, especially when persons made applications were rewarded the gun and it was taken back for whether political reasons, for whether extortion reasons, for whether reasons that had nothing to do with the legitimate granting of a license, especially when people make applications for the protection of self, property, life of themselves and another or other. It is significant because we live in a high crime society where it is fundamentally clear that not in all spaces the police is able to protect you. Not in all spaces the government is able to protect you. And that is something that we ought to think about, and how significant it is while we sit and we wait about thinking of the process and how significant it is. So we're almost at the end of the first hour, and I just want people to stop and think and pause as to how important it is for us to look at the constitutional framework, look at the guidelines, invite persons to respect the law, to uphold the law, to act with a sense of integrity. Integrity, as defined, is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Um, and that is generally, honestly, where we are at this particular moment. And totally inviting persons to think about that. So we are definitely at the hour, at the stage where I'm gonna see you at the end of the break, and whilst doing so, we'll say that open here or auto download. Yeah, yeah, and just will say for general view that we can appreciate that it can happen to the best of us. There are many things that can happen to you, many things that can happen to me, and we're not immune from the vicissitudes of life or the unfortunate experiences of life. So we always anchor expectations on God. So I see you at the top of the break, and we have the conversations. More to come. Stay tuned.
That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Soon gone, I know that man.
that's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Are in none such, where are you? YouTube, you're tuned into Context Matters. Welcome back. Anyway, so from 0 to 200 real quick. Big up yourself, Gardner, and all my moderators. Verona, I see you. Tanisha B, I see you. Jam Caramel, I see you. Walking in divine purpose. Now, let me stop and say this. Listen, we are continuing our tablet drive. Let us not sit in silence. I had to sit in Parliament yesterday and listen to the Minister of Local Government and the Minister talk about leap and them talk about creep and them talk about naira, fly, script, slip, itch, patch, pitch, patch. And it just sounded like a real dancehall thing. And I think it was pilot program for Leap. I just want to say this to you, man. The people of Jamaica need more than promises. And if I'm to follow the words of Member of Parliament for St. Mary Southeast, Christopher Brown, we want it now. Jamaican people want it now. You just keep making promises, promises, promises. We want it now. So anyway, I don't know if I'm supposed to address these things, but I want to explain something to you. As a new member of parliament in the Parliament of Jamaica, an opposition member, I must say this to you. It has been 9 months as a member of parliament. And majority of the time is dealt with Melissa, the rebuilding of lives, the continuous feeding of citizens, assistance to be rendered to people in Portland Eastern, as that is where my responsibility lies. I want people to appreciate this. But it dawned on me, because I would have seen in many spaces persons attempting to make comparisons. And I also realize that don't take it lightly when I say judgment versus time. Mature consideration is supposed to be given when persons are making decisions in all matters. Also, when persons are creating and persons are building something, they are to be measured with the concept of time. Even government. Expectations must be legitimate expectations coupled by realistic expectations. So I'm responding because they like to talk about people carrying giving you basket to carry water. I mean, I talk about the basket them where they did in Moses' days where could have did float and make him reach up a Pharaoh palace. Me I talk about the one them where you buy down a Bashko or Mega Mart. Mega Mart still open or closed down. Come here, say Price Mart around the place. Me don't know. It open? All right, good. Now, Mega Mart or Bashko, them basket them me I talk about. And listen, that basket where after you dry your clothes, you put it up the whole night. If you try full that up, it can't full. But what I will say at the 9 months juncture, at 9 months, ask any woman who has carried a child, ask any father who has waited for that moment, that at 9 months, if one were to make comparisons with persons who have been in power for 11 years, 6 years, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it is an interesting thing. But June 23rd, save the date, because you see, the God I serve has taught me many lessons. And there is always a method, a process that comes with doing things the correct way. When you are trained legally, yes, you don't just listen to the smoke screens and the red herrings, the false analogies, yes, the PR management that is placed there to paint people who are otherwise doing things for the benefit of the people in a bad light. So, the same standard, there is a process when things are being done properly. I don't, I look forward to sharing my report card. I look forward to talk about the things that is actually have been done, is being done, and is likely to be done so that the people can have a legitimate expectation. But I will say again, the irony is that when I entered this space as a candidate, I was told that all roads were fixed and carpet was carpeted. In fact, the legacy of persons was that the most roads fixed were the place fixed where I am. So I was very happy when the Prime Minister, the most honorable Dr. Andrew Michael Holness in Parliament said to me that, young MP, you are not responsible for roads and don't let anybody force you to take on the things you're not responsible for. Your constituency fund, the CDF, could never fix one road in your constituency. And the government will make the assessment with the Spark program, the POP, the REACH, the PREACH, the Go Light, yes, the yard style, the big deal and the meal deal, yes, the Go Large, depending on which fast food menu you look at. Roads is not the purview of the Member of Parliament. In fact, the local government minister was happy to say how much money he spent and August spend and is likely to spend on road. And how, when the maths is doing, they call Damien and Damien say, well, if you put it in the calculator, it cannot work. So no one can continue to say that you are supposed to do that which the government don't give you the resources to do. And there is a level of misunderstanding. And if I were to quote Valiant, it would be back of the class for some people. The people who are constantly not qualified to make assessments, but are the loudest in the pack of naysayers. But for the benefit of the people who are benefiting, and as we continue to show persons how to try to use community to uplift the space. Labor Day was one such, where we went into none such. And the people of none such, the way they came together with the councillor Wayne Mackenzie from the Prospect Division in Portland Eastern to get the netball court ready, because the young women wanted to participate and compete in netball. And if you know anything, when I came into Portland, the Titchfield girls, their netball team did well in Florida and continue to do well, and they're coached by persons who are experienced and have the capacity to take them to compete all over the world and medal. And so the future of sports is here in Jamaica. What you won't get me to do is go to Auntie Babsy and say, beg your court here and beg your court there. Because there's nothing in place to find talent in this country. I'm not going to even make a comment on in sports. I have bad experiences making comments about slackness. But what I will say is that when the community comes together through the spoken words and match it by action, yes? And we're talking about real action, not inaction or an action, or action in or action and. We're talking about real action, where real results are done outside of government. Every community can do it outside of government. And one of the things, if a lot of things was done outside of government, roofs would have been completed, houses would have been rebuilt. And I'm saying this just to touch NARA, because I read an article today where the NARA boss, who used to be the JDF boss, who went and became the JCF boss, who then went and became the ambassador boss, come back to be the NARA boss to say, yeah man, people want a house, so I'm going to give them some easy simple things that man, we'll put them in a some prefab trailer, because some of them want to be trailer trash. So I got go into some trailer for living on. The conversations remain consistent. But if you go out there and do what you need to do, the people's lives will flourish. And me use the word flourish because the prosperity, if you don't realize that you were bamboozled, we're not going to continue on down that road. But I will say this. Walking in the Vine has put out about the tablets, and I'm going to put it here again. So far, TikTok has been the space that has provided the most amount of tablets for the children of Portland. We are on a mission to get 3,750 tablets. I will announce on June 23rd what the number is, because we must complete this outside of government. And I'm saying this loud because I want the Minister of Education to hear. She loves education. I won't even have any expectations that the technology minister is going to participate in a pilot project to show that, to break the digital divide, to advance the youth about the digital economy. One has to have the equipment to do so. So I intend to complete it. But on June 23rd, I will speak about what is happening in Portland Eastern to show the difference. Because one can talk governance, but also one can govern. And the only governance that has any value is advancement and improvement of the people. The financial state of the people, access to technology, access to opportunity, access to multiple streams of income that is not conflicting. These are realities. And all I will say is watch the ride. But I'm going to, before I continue what I was saying, introduce you or show you what was the major project in Portland on Labor Day. The big project. And just look for me. Isa Buchanan, Member of Parliament, Portland Eastern. We're in Nonsuch at the Community Centre where we're doing the Labor Day project, one of the major projects that's being done in the constituency. And as you can see, it is the netball court. We're asphalting the netball court, fully asphalt, you understand?
So we are extremely grateful for the court. I remember when we barely had a bump and we had to bungle up on the court, 14 of us playing, so it's coming from a very far away. So we're extremely grateful to Mr. Mackenzie and Mr. Buchanan for giving us this wonderful court.
Tell them how much more we need to fix the netball court, right? How much we need? For do what? All right, see there? We're raising the funds. The youth in the community did what they were doing. I'm very proud of them, and as a reward, we're undertaking a $1 million project right now with the asphalting. Very proud of the work that we're doing, and I must say to you, the work don't stop. Watch the ride. Yeah, man. One rose bunny up.
This project has been coming from a few years with the Nonsuch Police Youth Club asking for assistance in constructing a netball court. It is something that took a lot of volunteerism, but we completed last week in terms of concrete works. But I must give great credit to Member of Parliament Isa Buchanan, who partnered with us in ensuring that we are where we are now with the paving, the asphalted concrete being put on it to give it a better, more professional look. So let me commend all the persons who work on this project, especially ladies, Sandra, Trudy, and all the young ladies and young men who give their time week after week. Sometimes they have things to do, but they made a sacrifice. With this, I say to the community, we can achieve more. We just need everybody to come together and believe.
We are really grateful. The little young men, they stopped playing their football to come and help us. The other community members, old and young, they came out. We are really grateful, and we want to tell you a big thank you. Right now, we are getting our Barber Green, and it is looking very great. And we will enjoy jumping up and down on the court in June, yes. Hopefully we win some matches, but we are a young team, but we are getting there. Yes, big up to our sponsors, Mr. Wayne Mackenzie and Mr. Isaac Buchanan. Yes, and the rest of persons who really made this possible. We are grateful. Thank you.
I know MP Buchanan will be doing some improvement on the field. I can't give a timeline, but I know it won't be long. And as I said earlier, I must commend him. Since he has been here, he has put his money where his mouth is in ensuring that the development takes place. And he has committed that Nonsuch must get it proper. So I again say thanks to him, thanks to the entire team, thanks to the team that is working right now, and thanks to everybody who support this project. I know we'll do more, we'll do greater things across the division and across the constituency. But our commitment is to people, to community, to the upliftment of everything and everybody. And we will do that. But we will not do it on a partisan basis, we'll do it on a community basis, that everybody become part. The entire community is a stakeholder, and we are partnering with the stakeholders, irrespective of who they are. We'll be doing it, and we'll be doing it all over for as long as we can.
They are going to give you 2 lessons, one on teamwork and one on family. It's when you work with your family, and you work as a team, the dream work. That's what teamwork make the dream work mean. So I'm standing here with Wayne McKenzie, the councillor for the Prospect Division, and just let me tell you something. We made a promise and we kept it. Promise made, promise kept, and none such community centre. They now have their netball court. If you know the hard work that Wayne McKenzie put into ensuring that this netball court came to life, this is just the finishing touch, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And with your member of parliament and your council, let me tell you, all things are possible. Boom, look for yourself. Proof is in the asphalt.
Very clear.
In living color, you can do what you want to do. You know, we always, oftentimes, one of the spaces that I'm gonna always appreciate or show some real respect for is YouTube and TikTok. The donations and the assistance is always overwhelming. While we were doing that court, um, Rosalie was in competition with Dre Love, and they were sending lions like to assist. And people might find it to be very people say, oh, TikTok is a Lego Beast place and this and this, and why are you talking here and there? But let me tell you something. People will always in the social media space, and is a part of um, teaching young people, because the internet really is for young people. Social media and responsible use of social media, as well as the digital economy, is a real economy. If anything that was taught to us from iShow speed visits is that the same people with their moral turpitude and fake moral outrage in the Jamaican space were ready and willing to endorse, partner, and roll the red carpet out for a social media juggernaut who has capitalized on the digital economy. And so this is talking about the young people in Portland Eastern and their access to education in that environment. And more to come. Maybe the next time you see me, which is next week, you will hear more about the DEEP, DEEP, Digital Economy Educational Program. It is something that I am 100% sure will change the dynamics for youth in Portland Eastern who have limited job opportunities. Every time I take up my phone, some bright young person says to me, MP, can you find me a job? MP, can you help me with a job? MP, I know you're in opposition and government is starving you and sabotaging you, but if you can just help me to get a job, I will do all I can to assist. Those are the conversations. And so we have to meet that faster. So one of the things that was in the process of delivery in the 9 months is the DEEP program, and its launch is significant, and I will talk more about that. But very, very proud and respect to Rosalie and Dre Love, who put out on the day in terms of donating to the netball court in Nonsuch. And we intend to asphalt more spaces. I won't tell you which one I have next in mind, as well as improving the space for sports, because it also enhances the ability to educate community, camaraderie. All of that is important and significant to community um, building. And you know, I am saying all of this because I hope persons actually watch the video. There are persons who They just want opportunity, and it is government's duty to give it to them. But in the absence of government's failure, and I'm talking central government, because it is right across the board that central government sees numbers, local government sees people, but most importantly, it is people who see people. So when you find yourself in government and you're disconnected from the people suffer. One of the failings of NARA is that it was never people centered. I know. I read the legislation. I made the recommendations. That aspect of it wasn't followed. So we are watching closely where that is concerned. Now, having said that, remember, we are talking about the fact that it happens to the best of us. We are not surprised. We are not sitting here saying that things in any way, shape, or form could have been any different in light of the reality. And so I want to talk about what could happen to you. So again, last week, Friday, the Court of Appeal gave its judgment in a seminal case, a case which advanced the jurisprudence in Jamaica and the Caribbean. That case was the case of Isaac Buchanan and the General Legal Counsel. That case involved matters concerning freedom of expression. Again, this is constitutional rights. It also, in that freedom of expression, demonstrated that institutions, authority will find ways to curtail and suppress your ability to speak up for your rights or to advocate for the rights of others. So here I am as a young attorney advocating for the rights of the client, a very high profile case. Years after, when everybody is long gone, people will talk about it. Law students will study the case and the many cases that came from the one case. The case I'm talking about is the Sean Campbell. The irony, the name of the case is Sean Campbell, aka the Vibes Cartel case. I show brief case. This case, you see, many other cases came from it, i.e., Vanessa Bling, she didn't it? She was charged along with Adija Palmer for perverting the course of justice. Yes, because she testified that she saw a lizard. And here I all this time thought that they were Bill Gates when they were building fences. Anyway, and that matter was dismissed, but that matter was put in a part of the matrix to deceive the jury. Yes, and Vanessa Bling, she bling way and she disassociate herself and she said, "Nah, gonna leave them never. Me, nah, gonna ever." I don't ever know the words to these songs, but these people are famous. I wonder if she starts singing gospel music yet. Anyway, big up you, Vanessa, because you're pretty. Anyway, so that one case. Two was the case of the juror, which they said had bribed. Yeah, the juror case is another one that came out of it. The third case that came out of it was Isaac Buchanan versus the GLC, and the fourth case that came out of it was Isaac Buchanan versus GLC too. So even the lawyer cases was coming up against them, and this particular one was they asking for the cell phone. Because let me tell you something, that cell phone had some freaky stuff on it. The cell phone had some the issues of privacy wasn't it, but the cell phone had some disgusting material on it. So perhaps they didn't want the cell phone out, except all of the information on the cell phone was well out into the space. I asked for the cell phone, nobody answered. I made statements, which I'm not going to repeat now because, as I said, judgment on time, God on time. A 7-page press release was put out. the most memorable thing in that press release was that certainly the bar could call a convict, but the office of the DPP would never hire a convict. So shots were fired, not money guns, but shots were fired. And I said, the next thing I know, I'm called up to answer charges that I should be disbarred for because I was negligent and I was inciting the public, and many things were being said. It wasn't pleaded, but it was said, and it was a lot of it was there. What came from it is that the GLC accepted that I had the right to freedom of expression, and the words were used with the greatest of sincerity, and could not said to be negligent, because let me tell you this: at the hearing of the retrial of the cartel case, as in the Sean Campbell case, the DPP who represented the Crown, the new DPP, and her name was Lorena Togwell, she stood up and she said that we were the authors of delay. The state was the authors of delay, and that their constitutional rights were violated by delay. So when I say the DPP is acting as an author of delay by not responding to a letter, there was some genuine behavior. Anyway, having said all of that, there was some conversation about the sub judice rule, the sub judice rule. And again, judgment and time, because here I am now in Parliament, and non-lawyers are getting up saying that you can't talk about cases because the matter is sub judice, and the standing order says that you do this. And totally, that exchange in Parliament was a disrespect to the honor and dignity of judges. And sometimes we're in one space and we don't understand the implications of things said that in another space. And even for myself, I'm learning that as I go. But the court in the Isaac Buchanan and GLC judgment has defined the scope of sub judice rule, and have also, made it quite clear that the lords in England, and respectfully extended to the Court of Appeal, and if I dare say, judges that sit on benches, they're not influenced by all kind of passa and cas that's taking place outside, or people who have no understanding of the law trying to try case in media. It is the evidence in court that is of importance. Something as simple as whether it is grape, whether it is unaliving, whether the evidence is there, whether there is any conversation about identification, and can the state, which has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, prove it, and doing so without tampering evidence, doing so without fabricating statements and influencing persons, and fitting evidence to match cases, doing so that justice is done without interference and corruption. That is the conversation. And so when the GLC was done, they said, although he has the right to freedom of expression as an attorney, although we, the panel, don't have the power to charge him for contempt of court, we believe that he breached the dignity of the profession because he chat too much. And then when that judgment came out, it's from there and then I was chatty mouth. I sat and them say, Rasta boy, you chat too much, shut up. Me hate to see you, but can't take you. And everything said about me has derived from one case. And they said that I was guilty of professional misconduct, and persons at that point ceased from taking me serious as an attorney. A total character assassination from my peers as an advocate and what I was doing, the work for human rights, an appreciation, having been equivocated under the tutelage of a constitutional juggernaut and some of the most brilliant minds across the Caribbean. You would have to walk into the halls of the University of the West Indies and the Faculty of Law to understand that when I was going to the University of the West Indies, a Professor Cordellini was there. Tracy Robinson, Professor Tracy Robinson, Dr. Janelle Matthews, Dr. Celia Blake. Yes? Dr. Jackson, and the now Attorney General, Dr. Derek McCoy. I could call other names, because the president of the law school is Dr. Malcolm. All of the persons who are competent, I was in their tutelage. So at that moment in time, you see, every time I say God on time, I understand, appreciate that life is time plus chance created. And I had the opportunity to sit at the feet of the legal minds, the great people. And so I appreciate, and there's a conversation to be had, but I am not the one currently to criticize. But I know as a human being, to be persecuted by your competitors, it is only God that can allow you to survive. But that judgment has caused us to say judgment and time, because it's not Isaac Buchanan, the young attorney, that has done something superior. It is evidence that being in the company of greatness, the lawyer that represented me, John Clark, rather than your peers spend their effort to destroy you, more time should be spent on recognizing those who have contributed to the jurisprudence of this country to increase and set examples across the Caribbean and the world at large. Because standing before the Privy Council and saying to Lord Reed that the Constitution in Jamaica, the Charter of Rights, is for us, by us. Fubu, I mean, not talk about the clothes. I talk about being clothed in the rights and protected by a charter that says, except where it is demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society. Nobody come go on like you want to breach my rights and things, you now go justify it. Yeah? The burden is on the state. And every single case that I would have done, including today in the court, where two young men are before the court, and there's the conversations about child diversion, the conflict resolution, an appreciation that when you grow up together all your life with people, that the community is to intervene in terms of restorative justice, and the law must never be weaponized to destroy the next person. But we learn it. Children live what they learn. So where those persons in authority destroy the inferior people, because that's what they see it as. When the elite class steps on the lower class, when people criticize and say that lawyers and parliamentarians shouldn't talk to common folks and ghetto people and shouldn't be idle and should not socialize with a certain class of people, except when it's election time. And when the prime minister call election, the woman them put on them tights and them Timberland boots and walk in the hot sun, and the man them put on them collars and all kind of things, and them go in the bar and them drink this rum and the boom and them say, yeah, man, and everybody pretend the performative version of politics so that they can win votes and then go back to being superior and elite. Those are the conversations where freedom of expression has to be respected. Doesn't mean that because you have freedom of expression, you're going to go out and abuse it. And yeah, persons are free to say anything that they want because they're only disrespecting themselves. But at some point, you're going to have to realize, take people to court and have them realize that when they are exercising freedom of expression, they mustn't deceive, you know. But I'm not addressing everything. I'm just putting that out there to say. But one of the things that I just wanted to share while I have the opportunity to do so is an article that I recently was able to look at. And it had something to do with, you know, this concept of human rights. One will say ISAT is defending criminals because they've never interfaced with the Charter of Rights. They never look at the advancement in the jurisprudence, the advancements in the law. So when I say my freedom of expression is being curtailed and suppressed, and they're trying to shut me up, and I have to defend my rights because I know the Constitution protects me. You lead by example. So years ago, because this case took place in 2020, and somewhere in 2026, 6 years ago, people said, my God, you're out of order. This little lawyer boy, disrespectful, we hate him. And the 9, 10, 15,000 articles that came with it. But when it comes to the Constitution, you will appreciate, and one will appreciate that there has to be somebody that stands up for the rights of the citizens of this country, the people who otherwise are not in the spaces to advocate for themselves. Who are my mentors? Who are the people that I look to? Certainly, the mentorship will not come from the people who are breaching the constitutional rights of the citizens of this country. The people who I have had to take to court so many times and won. But the media won't say that. Because one can recall when I was doing the very case I'm telling you about that gave me personally 2 cases. Whilst doing that case, the media that reported on my behalf was Fox News. Because the local news would suppress the truth or angle it respectfully. So they had to report whatever the big news reported. And then people said, why are you taking our business to foreign? Same thing. And I give you timelines because the same rule applied for the Virgo case. In the court at first instance, they said, I don't know the law. The judge said he doesn't understand the law. The child rights is not violated. She forgot to another school with her license and her jonjo. But I know the Constitution work. And it was a sad day in Jamaica for Rastafari and Afro identity. But the Court of Appeal wasted no time in correcting that wrong. Was it too little, too late? No. Because I say judgment and time. And so I know delay. is now a constitutional breach, and the court recognizes it. And those are the things that make me proud to be a Jamaican, that makes me proud to be a part of a free and democratic society where the Constitution is the authority. Whereas we think about constitutional amendment, we're going to have conversations about that. But just know one thing, I walk into Parliament and then table that report quick. And I know where the influences come from. And the political analysts that who are not lawyers, who can say what they want before and after, and then make conversations about tribe law. Leave the law to those who practice it. Yeah? And time will always show that the system itself works. And there will be many things as the jurisprudence increases and other questions to ask as to whether the ability to silence people, you know, and circumvent the Constitution and disrespect the Constitution. Because any lawmaker and any member of Parliament that don't have no respect for the Constitution will not get no respect from me. That's a simple thing. And the same way, yesterday I'm sitting in child diversion and I'm thinking about it, and I said, you know, because my duty and my mandate is to protect the future of this country, my duty is to ensure that the youth become the best versions of themselves. So seeing a child as a child makes a difference. That's a whole other conversation. But imagine, and this is how I'm closing Context Matters for June 4, 2026. Can you imagine there are people who fail to see children as children? If a big man is willing to fight a youth and say he's a big man, he has the same mentality in his head when he say a young girl, him say a big woman that. So it is when the police go on the road and them say a youth, like a 17-year-old youth in Granville, and say, me I go unalive that. Him say a big man that. So it is when he sees an underage girl, him say a big woman that. And there, that is how they fall into error. So I cannot live in a society where adults fail to see children, as defined, just as how Jamaica defines youth up to 29. So don't feel like say your age still there on calendar and I come bright up yourself like you're a big man and big woman. Because you see, when the taxi fare raise, you realize you're going to run, go back to your mother and say, Mommy, cook little dinner for me because the taxi fare now reach, because you're a little picnic, and that is okay. So when I walk into the court, I sympathize when I see children before the courts as victims and children before the court as offenders. I am saddened when there are youth offenders who are not sent to child diversion. And I said yesterday in the child diversion committee that we must make it mandatory that when we identify children in conflict with the law, that they must be sent to child diversion They must be given an opportunity to correct their ways. And you know why? Because I know that a youth who makes mistake in his youthful years can still be a lawyer, can still speak before the Privy Council, can still contribute to society in ways unimaginable. Who are my mentors? Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Marcus Garvey, charged for mail fraud. How judgment and time fixes that is a different conversation. But let's not forget that Paul Bogle and George William Gordon and the whole of them depend with money and their national heroes then go a prison, sentenced to death. Yeah? Interrupters of this oppressive status quo. I know where my mentors are. I know the freedom fighters and the radicals. I know who to look up to. I know who are the mentors. I know what the struggle is. Yes? I know the importance of emancipating yourself from mental slavery and seeing not out of the eyes, but the window to the soul, seeing through that, waking up the mind, turning the light bulb on. And then when the light bulb is on, it's not fueled by JPS that can cut your light. That is what I know. And I have a duty as long as I am alive to educate the people, to let them understand that judgment versus time means that right now somebody will not appreciate it, but years from now, history will absolve you. History will vindicate conduct. History will say, now we see the picture, because the story is told without the emotional influences of the people who are in the know. The persons who are the gatekeepers, movers and shakers, authors of the narrative. The people who are existing now, who are obsessed with painting the wrong picture, the lack of courtesy, the things that people need to have persons walk away from the opportunity to walk into their greatness, the distractions. But the mission is always to improve the lives of the people. The mission is always to ensure that when someone has a vision, somebody has hopes and dreams, that they're able to advocate, express themselves without being bullied, without being silenced, without being able to speak out and speak up. And that is what has to change. So while we continue to educate, while we continue to protect the rights, while persons will say, don't listen to police, don't listen to ISAT, when they tell you that you must protect your liberty, your freedom, understand that you're, to borrow from the words of Beyonce, don't you ever for a second get to thinking you're irreplaceable. Yeah? Because the commissioner of police and HR will tell you, you must not know about me. You must not know about me. I can train another you in a minute, and they will graduate in a minute. Baby, don't you ever for a second get to thinking that you're irreplaceable. Protect your right, your freedom, your sanity, your peace of mind, because the mission in this life is to be happy. And while we procreate, while we populate, while we continue to ensure that the Jamaicanness and culture isn't lost and the individuality and greatness is for all, let us not forget, it's the Constitution we work with. None of that umpy-skumpy business. Blessings, and I see you guys next week. Thanks for listening, because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be with me. See you guys next week. Context matters. You must not know about me.
It took some time to understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You know I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving. Moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Cause everything's gonna be alright.